I think your TikToks do enough of that for us. All right, so walk us through Creatorium and what was the idea behind it and how that is going now.
So I was just telling Mr. Zubi a few minutes ago how that creative professions in Nigeria are not, for lack of a better word, are not rated. Everybody's worried because at the end of the day, only a small percentage of people get to a high level of success in creative professions. And I don't think it has to be that way. And I think everybody who has gone ahead, even if you're ahead by 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, I believe we all have a responsibility to come back and shorten that journey for others. Because some of the things that took us 5 years, you don't have to do for somebody else.
5 years.
So it was that kind of thinking that allowed us to come to Creatorium. This, what I've just described, has been the bedrock of all the work I've done for the past 7 years. And it's the bedrock of work that Adora, my co-host, has done for maybe the past 15 years.
Wow.
So I had started a show, I only did like 3 episodes. She had also had a show that she had done like 70 episodes of. And we're just both thinking about, what do we want to do next? And it's like, okay, here's where my head is at, here's where your head is at, let's join forces together. Um, we also knew that there was no podcast from this side of the world that had two hosts, talking about creator education. So we just thought it would be a great spin. And my favorite thing about Creatorium is that we have episodes where we have a guest and we have episodes where it's just two of us, so it's great.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think it's lovely. If you've not watched any of the episodes, you should definitely check it out. It's super exciting. All right, let's get into the conversation. Has AI made visual storytelling more accessible or just more saturated?
That's a good question. Is there anybody here who uses AI in their workflow? Please just raise your hand. Let's know. What which one do you use the most? ChatGPT. Who else? What do you use the most?
I use that ChatGPT and Banana Gmail.
Nano Banana on Gemini. Okay, okay. Anybody else wants to just volunteer? What do you use the most? Grok. But yeah, Grok is actually pretty
I
good.
am brutally honest.
More better than pretty good actually. It's really really great language. Um, so the question is, what's the question again?
I said, has AI made visual storytelling more accessible or just more saturated?
So the thing that has made it more accessible is the internet, not AI. And yes, when things become accessible, they become saturated. However, I don't agree with the word oversaturation.
Okay.
I don't think there's such a thing as oversaturation of quality content, right? So when people say social media is oversaturated, it just means I think they're just angry everybody is now a content creator. There's no barrier to entry, so anybody with a smartphone and an internet connection can come online and spew rubbish. However, it presents an opportunity for people who have substance to stand out because there's no such thing as oversaturation of quality content. So what AI has done is it's made it so much easier for people to come into the world of any kind of creativity. Now you can make a song,
Yes.
even though you can't play any musical instruments, you don't know any production, you can't sing, you can make a song. But ultimately, I think it still separates actual creatives from everybody else because you can't perform with AI, right? Like if I had to start singing now and I had to conduct a band, AI can't help you do that. If he did, he did. If he didn't, he didn't. You can't circumvent that process with AI. So I don't think it's something people should be worried about. The the accessibility because accessibility is something we don't have control over. As since the internet started to exist, I can post a video now and Obama can share it to his story by 2 p.m. We live in crazy times. It's so normalized, so we don't really talk about it, but it's crazy.
It's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. Like you can create a film. People didn't realize how far Nigerian art was going until Obama would post his playlist and there'll be like a Rema song and a Thames song, and people were just like, wow, this our stuff is going really far. It's the same way for everybody here. You don't even have to be a superstar. literally by you put out something and it can reach anybody anywhere in the world. That's something we should celebrate and look for ways to leverage rather than complain about or view as some form of disadvantage.
Visual threat.
Yeah.
But would you say that AI dilutes originality?
First of all, the question is what is originality? If you check, there's really not that much that is original in the world, right? A lot of us were inspired by someone else that was inspired by someone else that stole from someone else that borrowed from his
Another
parents that you get. So at the end of the day, there's almost nothing like an original idea. However, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I would say we should everyone should take the time to understand what their convictions are, why we do what we do, why we believe what we believe, and what lines we will never cross. That's something every creative person, whether you're a visual storyteller, a photographer, a videographer, a copywriter, that's something you need to sit with. Because I mean, if you've used AI long enough, you know that sometimes the thing has coin.
of course.
Do you get like, especially if you've gone back and forth with ChatGPT, at some point you want to ask, don't you have
Are you
sense?
good?
Is that what I said? Do you understand? Because at the end of the day, ChatGPT is built on what it scours from all over the internet. So there's a lot of information that is not on the internet, like that's only available in real life.
Like-
ChatGPT doesn't have that information because it scrapes from everything that is on the internet. So as a human being, when you're using AI, you need to understand that this is a partner in my work, not a replacement for my brain. Do you get? That's how you need to treat it. Of course, when you're working with AI, it will suggest things to you that it has pulled from other sources and present it to you as if it was your thoughts. So you need to be careful to not take that and then present it to the world as your original idea, because it isn't. So even when AI gives you stuff, you still need to make it your own, put it in your language, fact check it, because sometimes it's wrong. Before when people would argue, they would say, "Oh, okay, let's Google it." But you can Google something and it could be wrong because someone puts the information there. And if the person who put the information there doesn't know what they're saying, now we all don't know what we're saying. So you need to still be able to fact check it. And that process of having the process that gets you to the point where you have the capacity to fact check what a computer has said, it requires years of work. That one you can't shortcut it. AI cannot produce it for you in 2 minutes. You need to have done the work over a long period of time. So when AI says this, you're able to poke back. And I noticed that every time you poke back to ChatGPT and say, no, but this is not so, it'll be like, oh good catch. And it's like, good catch. So if I had listened to you, and then it will like backtrack and take back what it said and then go from there. So you need to be able to fact check whatever AI is giving you.
I totally agree with you on the fact checking. I had a very interesting scenario last year at my day job where we were supposed to do like a project presentation and I didn't have enough time and I went to ChatGPT and then it just pulled out something that looked so great with references.
Yeah.
So they looked at it and they was like, this is so good. Just to check the references, they were imaginary people, like it was nowhere from books to fake doctors. And I was just like, just give me time to work on it again. So I think I totally agree with you on fact checking. And also there was something you said about just knowing your gut and just seeing it as a partner, not a replacement for your brain. Now I have a very interesting question. If AI can generate campaign in minutes, how do creators justify time, depth, and intentional storytelling?
That's a good question. How much time do we have?
Please go.
So there's something I teach in every class where I teach storytelling. I always teach everyone that the best place to start is from who you are as a person. And I always say that there's 5 factors that no two people on the face of the earth have the same combination of. And those 5 factors is your exposure, education, expertise, your interests, and your experiences. Sorry, guys, I didn't mean for this to be a class, but I'll explain. So those 5 factors, one after the other. Your education is everything that contributes to the information you have about the world, right? So including a session like this, but not limited to a session like this. Including school, but not limited to school. Everything that adds to the information you have, that falls under your education. Your exposure is everything you've been exposed to as a result of the circumstances of your life. So, for example, if you grew up in if you grew up in Enugu, you were exposed to different factors from if you grew up in Kaduna. Do you get? If your mom was a nurse, you had a different childhood from if your mom was a teacher. Do you get?
Yeah.
So exposure is the second thing. Third is your interests and passions, which in very simple words, it would be me asking you, what are you passionate about? What's something you can talk about for 1 hour with no preparation? Everybody has that, Abby. Some of you are not proud of your own, but like everybody has that. Three would be your expertise. Your expertise is anything you can get paid for or have gotten paid for ever. Anything you've exchanged money for. You don't have to be passionate about it, your day job, whatever. Five is experience. Experience is the most dynamic of them all because two people can encounter the same thing and have two different experiences. Do you get? So there may be somebody in this hall who's like, wow, I'm learning so much from this session. And then somebody else is like, this is so boring, I can't wait to go home. They're experiencing the same thing within the same environment, the same conditions, and one person is bored, one person is interested. Same way, your favorite artist. There's somebody that's like, how can that be your favorite artist?
Artist.
That guy sings rubbish. Like all of us know, like Friends is not a good show. Big Bang Theory is better than Friends, but that's beside the point. But so those five factors, no two people have the same combination of those five factors. Even people who are twins, right? For me, for example, I'm the firstborn in my family, and I have a sister who's 10 years younger than me. If you ask me about my dad, I'll have really nice things to say. If you ask her about my dad, you think we're talking about two different people. Do you get? Because she tells my dad when she's angry. I've never done that in my life. And I'm 30 years old. I don't think I will ever do it because I'm afraid of the man. But she's younger than me and she has that relationship with him because he was a different person. So when it comes down to it, everybody is different. And the things that allow us to create work that nobody else can create is us digging deep into our five factors. That's what allows you to be able to create from a place and write a song that nobody else could have written. It had to be you. Take a picture that nobody else could have taken. It had to be you because there's a certain way you saw a child on the street and it reminded you of something you saw in your childhood. Another photographer can't take that picture. It's not about skill at that point. Do you understand? So I always tell people who want to use AI that for the simple tasks like writing a brief or creating a contract or replying emails, by all means, let AI do it. But if you're a writer, make sure you're not making ChatGPT do your writing. Otherwise, you wake up one day and you don't know how to write
write.
anymore. Because the joy, the thing that comes out of your writing that people appreciate is a summation of who you are as a person. When I first started making content, I would make videos and people would comment, oh, I needed that. Oh my gosh, I really needed to hear that. Thank you so much. And I did not believe them because I just thought, how do you not know that? Are you not a grown up? Like everybody knows that. What do you mean that helped you? Because from the place I was coming from, how I was brought up, that was normal. That was every day. That was, But it meant a lot to some people. Like it meant so much to some people that I have built an entire career on top of it. So a lot of the things that come naturally to you that you just overlook can be a big deal to somebody else. So if we're starting to see AI as a threat to, somebody did not raise their hand when I was saying everybody's using AI, and I'm really proud of him. He's not looking at me. You said you didn't raise your hand when I said who's using AI in their workflow. Do you not use AI?
Actually, I'm making a chat GPT.
Yeah,
Like, but just like you said,
yeah,
creating like emails and
yeah.
proposals and stuff.
I take back my admiration. I was looking for somebody that doesn't use AI at all, like a purist, which I mean, I don't think anybody should be.
I feel like we need AI time to time.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure. But what I mean is, so sometimes I will just like try and do something I normally use AI for. I just try and do it by myself to just check, like, do I still have it?
Love it.
Yeah.
Because that's my biggest fear that I wake up one day and I want to create and I cannot unless there's AI,
AI.
I would rather not live in a world like that. So that's my answer, my long answer.
Yeah, and it's a very, I mean, please put our hands together for Salem. I just want to be sure that the mic is not delaying by 3 seconds. Can you actually hear me? Okay, because I realize our responses are like 3 seconds after. Are we all good? Okay. All right. So you mentioned something very important, and you say you have to dig deep into yourself, and how you say you make a video, and then you're like, oh, everyone is supposed to know this, and oh, maybe this is not so special. What about creators that have identity crisis?
That's a good question. So first of all, that's something to work through. One, with a professional. Two, with yourself. Right? I'm not Identity crises come in different forms. For some people, they're not sure who they are. Some people, they're not sure that this thing that they're devoting their time to will materialize long term. For some people, their work is their life, and they feel like they don't have a life anymore. So identity crisis presents in
Different.
so many different ways. But what I would say is it's important to be self-aware, to know who you are. And the reason why this is so important is because we live in a world that encourages hyper consumption. Like once you open your phone, there's a message from someone, there's a video on Instagram. In fact, before Instagram was set up in a way that you could scroll, and but now like you just open it. TikTok is the worst. Like once you just open it,
It's in
the
your
app is
face.
just shouting at you, screaming at you once you open
And
it.
scrolling on it so.
Do you get that? Scrolling on it is so easy. So I would say everyone should spend some time in solitude, trying to figure out who am I, what is important to me. And if you're in a place where you can't afford to like separate yourself or take that time off, I would say give yourself to something. Like volunteer somewhere. Could be your church, could be a studio down the street from your house. Just go somewhere where you're meeting a need. You don't even have to be passionate about the need. It just has to be that there's a need, someone needs to fill it, I'm going to be the one to fill it. So let's say there's this event happens every Friday and there's somebody that needs to just come and stack chairs. Make sure you're the one who comes every Friday before everybody, and before anybody comes to tell you what to do, you've already stacked the chairs, you've already cleaned all the chairs. What that does for you as a human being is even when you don't know what you want, you will know what you don't want. That's the first step, which is I call it clarity by elimination. So sometimes you don't always get clarity by knowing what you get clarity by knowing what you don't want. So you're like, oh, okay, now that I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, what's remaining? Do you get then you now know how to go from there. But clarity comes on the road. Clarity does not come and meet anybody in their house. Anybody who's not actively working, who's not doing something, who's not serving humanity in some way, whether you're passionate about it or not, clarity is not going to come and meet you. Do you get? So that's another thing I should say again. I think young people tend to chase passion a little too much. We want to make sure that the thing we're doing, we're passionate about it. But what people don't know is, even with the things that you're passionate about, there's going to be so many parts of it that you absolutely hate, right? Like now, every time I have to reply an email, sometimes it takes me like 10 minutes. I hate it so much. I don't like emails. I don't like phone calls. I don't like planning events, but I like to teach. But to like gather the people, to do admin, to do registration, to create the Google form, to set all those things stress me out. I'm a content creator. I hate editing. Please, if you say this outside, I'll deny you. I hate editing.
Really?
Yes, I've done it thousands of times, but I hate it. Every single time I have to do it, I hate it. But it's part of the job that I love, which is telling stories. Do you get? Once I blow, the first thing I'm outsourcing is editing. I'll get an editor that will live in my house. That's how I'll know I've blown. So even with the things that we love, there'll be parts of it that we don't love. So we shouldn't. Passion is important, but it shouldn't be the only thing we chase when we're deciding what to pursue. Yeah.
That's so profound. Thank you so much. Clarity by elimination. We're not going to forget that. Okay, we're going to throw and make the floor open for questions. And before we move forward, just in the spirit of giving honor to whom honor is due. And actually, his segment was supposed to come in before the panel. We have the founder. Please can we put our hands together for Mr. Zubi Gabriel? That's I know you. Yeah, so that's him. Yeah, he's going to come up later and speak. His segment was supposed to come before this. Just to apologize and also recognize you. Okay, so do we have questions? Do we have questions? I would love to refer to Salem as wind sometimes. It's like you can see him, but you can't catch him. So you have Salem by your hand now. All right. Okay, so we have, who's going to help with the microphone? Okay, don't worry, I'll do it. It's okay. Okay, let me use my mic. So you tell us your name, what you do, and then your question.
Thank you. Hi, my
Hi.
name is Danny Miles. I'm a fashion photographer, stylist, and designer. My question is, when it comes to content creation, how do you draw the line between showing your work or you're passionate about and actually offering service or offering value in your content? It's not just about, oh, this is what I can do. How does it help you?
Oh, please, follow up question. What do you consider to be value?
Anything that helps you be a better person.
Perfect. Okay, I'll answer now. I just wanted to be clear on that. So I noticed that a lot of time, first of all, on social media, there's a lot of talk about you have to offer value. Like if you're making content, you cannot just be about yourself, you need to offer value. And then people tend to put those two things on opposing sides. Like, don't talk about yourself, offer value. Don't only post your fine picture, offer value. And they talk about it like those are two different things. But ultimately, what value is, in very simple words, is what people need that they cannot or will not give themselves. That's it, in very simple words. So if there's something that I need, I want, I can't provide it for myself, and there's somebody else that can provide it, to me, that is valuable. So if Basket Mount has a show in and the tickets are 50K. And because I like stand up comedy, I pay 50K. There may be somebody else who's like, why would you pay 50K for a comedy show? There's children who don't have school fees. Right? So by some estimation of what's more important on the grand scheme of things,
Thing.
a child's education is more important, right? But the comedy is valuable to me. I want to laugh. Do you understand? So I would say think about it this way: who's my audience, who's my target audience, what are their problems, what do they want to see, what do they want to hear, how do I infuse it into my content while also presenting whatever else I want to do. Value does not only look like teaching. Value does not only mean tips and tricks. The people, some of the biggest content creators from this part of the world, before those of us who started doing creator education started to blow up small, small, was comedians. It was only comedians. In fact, it was Mark Angel, it was Clinton Cod, it was I don't remember all their names now, but it was comedians, it was skit makers. It wasn't until around 2018, 2019, there started to be like tech content creators, people like Fisayo Fosudo. I started making content in 2019. And even then, we were still like one side. It was only comedians who were making the big bucks because what they have to offer is valuable. So someone might make fun of you that, oh, this guy who's always wearing a wig, wearing women's wrappers, but he has 200,000 comments because there are people who need that. There's people who see that and it gets them through the day. So ask yourself, like, what's the thing you're going to present that will help someone through their day? What do they want to see? Um, how can you present something that people can see themselves in your story? Because again, another thing to prove that value is not just in teaching. Vlogs would not be a thing if value was only about teaching. Because people sit down and watch 40-minute vlogs of week in the life in Abuja. Like, is somebody going to Ebano, then entering Keke to Gwarimpa, and people sit down and watch it. Do you get in different cities of the world? Because there's something we get from like watching someone else, even in the city you live. Like there's something you get, not me, but like a lot of people, there's something they get from that. And that's why people who do that have a career. All right. So don't limit what value can mean.
Yeah.
All right, I hope you have some clarity from that. Okay, I want to ask a question before I make someone in the audience asking that question. The algorithm. So
Yeah.
you see, for a lot of people, I think it's one thing that maybe discourages them. Maybe you spend so much time and effort um, conceptualizing an idea for a video, shooting the video, editing the video, and then it has maybe like few likes and few
Yeah.
comments and all of that can be discouraging. And then you also hear people say, don't focus on the algorithm, keep it going. So it's two things. Number one, do you think they always like should we change the algorithm to make it harder for creators? And then how important is looking at numbers for the creator?
So this thing is two-sided. First of all, I need everyone to know that the algorithm is a tool. It's a machine. In fact, social media, Instagram, TikTok, all of them, they are platforms, and a platform is a tool. And it is the user that determines how a tool will be used, right? A hammer is meant for driving nails, but if I buy a hammer and I decide I want to use it to be breaking eggs, who are you to tell me that you can't use your hammer to crack eggs? That is my hammer. Do you understand? So I think everyone needs to be clear on what am I on social media for? What do I want to achieve in this life that I cannot achieve any other way other than through social media? Because then you will have clarity about how to approach it. I think so many people approach it wrong from a perspective of, oh, this is where everybody is now, and to get clients, you just have to be this social media thing they are doing now. Oh my God, now I have to dance, I have to do trending sound, and then they approach it from a like it's very please now help me, pick me. And that's not how we're supposed to approach it. You're supposed to be confident in the value you have to offer an audience in real life, and then decide that okay, this value is bigger than the city I live in. I want it to be able to reach people in other parts of Nigeria, in other parts of the world, Africa. How can I leverage social media to do that? And then approach it accordingly. So, yes, algorithms always change, but it's because the platforms are always changing too. We use the platform for free. I think people don't understand how crazy that is. You can make money on Instagram, like selling stuff in the DM, but they don't take any money from you. Like you use the platform for free. So how they make money is advertisers. So in everything they do, they are not prioritizing creators, they are prioritizing advertisers and ad revenue. So you as a creator, knowing that this is what I want to achieve in this place, how do I position myself to make sure I make the best use of this engine, of this tool? Do you get? So, of course, you have to study it every now and then, but complaining is not the way. Because I see so many people like, algorithm, the algorithm and everything, but you don't have to be a slave to the algorithm. That's one side. The second side is a quote by one of my favorite creators, Matt Diavella. He says something, and this annoys some people, but I stand by it. He says, be so good, you don't even have to think about the algorithm. And that's what me I live by. Does that mean I don't think about it? I think about it a lot. I worry about it. I look at the numbers, and everything. But my focus is my craft. When content creators reach out to me and say, I've been making content for a few months, I've been consistent, and I've only grown by 100 followers. I always encourage them to and show them that after as someone who started from zero, by the time you make 100 videos, you've become so much better of a storyteller. You've become a better writer.
Yeah.
You've become a better
Editor.
noticer of things. Like your eyes are now more open. You're more educated. So even though your following doesn't grow, as a person, you grow. As a creative, you grow. As a storyteller, as all of these things. And the beautiful thing is, those things can always be those skills can be transferred to other areas of life, other things. I know so many creators that wanted to be influencers years ago, but they never really became influencers with hundreds of thousands of followers. But now they've transitioned to like art direction in Nollywood. They've transitioned to talent management for creators because they understand the industry well. Some of them have transitioned to creative direction, to fashion, to different things, to be working in agencies also and driving campaigns for the brands. They're creators themselves. They have 1,000 followers, but they have the eye and the business. Some of them make more money than me with my 300,000 followers. Do you get? So it's about just understanding this is what I want to achieve. This is a tool that helps me achieve it. What is the work that what is the work I am focusing on? Because social media is supposed to be a means to an end, not an end in itself. So everybody who's there needs to be clear, what's the end this thing is helping me get to? For me, it's helping me teach. That's the thing I want to do more than anything else in the world. But when I wanted to start teaching, I was 22 years old. Who's going to listen to you? What do you know about life? So I started doing it on social media. And as I did it on social media, I'm then able to do it in spaces like this. This is where I'm happiest, not on social media, So, yeah, hope that helps.
Yes, it does help. Okay, who has another question before we wrap up the session with Salem? Salem, sorry. Very. My sister had warned me before leaving the house. She said it's Salem, not Salem. All right. So who has a question before we wrap up this panel session? Ask now before going through the mail route. We're good? Are we all good? All right. Please, can we put our hands together for Salem? Salem, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Everything you said here is so profound, and we are super proud of you, and we're super proud of the growth. And yes, see you on another stage because I
Thank
know
you.
definitely we're going to jam again. Thank you.
right.
Please, a round of applause for Salem. Thank you so much.